already know what to do. You're in your 20s, and the 20s are ghetto. So by the time you get to 30, it's like, it's bougie ghetto. It's like, bougie ghetto, you know, it's strange, but it's always been strange. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Dyme, and we what? We back at it again. If this is your first time here, welcome. Come on in and grab a seat, okay? However, if you have been here for quite some time or you are already subscribed, then you, my baby, are a babe, okay? Today's video is going to be another video that was requested, but I think this video will be more inclusive in terms of the content subject. So I just really want to take this opportunity to speak from the heart. I am in my 30s. I am in my 30s, and though I am in my early 30s, I am in my 30s, okay? And so what I can guarantee you is that what I am going to share with you today will be relevant, okay? And I think that my experience in life and things that I encountered in my late 20s, though it might be somewhat dramatic compared to what you may be experiencing, or it might be right on par, I think my experience will be helpful and the feedback that I have will be helpful. And so let me just start out with number one. If you are in your 20s and going into your 30s, one thing I want you to understand is sense of self is paramount. Sense of self is paramount. What do I mean by that? I mean, not just knowing your name and who your parents are and where you're from and what, you know, your astrological sign is. I'm talking about truly knowing who you are, right? What makes you tick? What makes you feel alive? The things that you deem as challenges, what you feel like your strengths are. Non-negotiables as it pertains to anything, not just your love interests, but also life. Would you take that from a job? What is the lowest amount of money you're willing to take? Why? What is your biggest fear? The things that make you tick. The sense of self. Familial background. What generational curses are you up against, right? What did your mama battle with? What your daddy battle with? What your grandmama battle with? Sense of self. Knowing where you came from, who you came from, ancestry. Having a good understanding of that. Sense of self, because self is not just you in this moment. Self is everything that brought you to this moment, right? Your conception, your connections, your ideals, your conditioning. Without a good sense of self, you will find yourself in many situations that test your limits, that put you in situations that you do not like, that will feel like they're breaking you, that will test your gangster, okay? And the reason for that is to do what I think you should do now. Develop that sense of self. The ante just ups, right? So if you're in your early 20s, mid 20s, and now you in your late 20s and you border on, it just gets harder. Why does it get harder? Because you get better. You must know who you are. Have a good grip on sense of self. So when you are tested, when things come your way that will break you, that will test your gangster, you can maneuver. You can say, you know what, this is not me. I don't do this. I don't battle with this. My mama did that, I'm not doing that. My grandmama did that, it stops with me. My daddy had an issue with that, and I got some daddy issues, but I worked on that already. You won't see it, right? You won't see it from me. That sense of self is going to save you. Number one. Develop a strong sense of self. How do you do that? You do that through exploration, doing hard things, testing yourself, doing things that you just don't feel like doing, and consistently showing up. You'll learn a lot about yourself. Are you persistent? Do you apply dedication to things that mean something to you? Do you appreciate hard work? How you love? What you're willing to do, why you're willing to do it. You will find these things out through exploration. And through exploration, you will develop, oh, I know me. I know I'm not gonna get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, because I tried that before when I was 27 and it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Because I don't value early rising. I don't value going to sleep super early so I can wake up super early to go work out and hurt and then be achy all day. I don't value that. So that's not where I'm gonna place my attention. I'm gonna do XYZ instead. I'm gonna have an evening Pilates class instead of a 5 a.m. HIIT class. You feel where I'm going with this? That sense of self. Oh, I know he's just going to derail me. I love a man that is toxic. How do I know? Because when I was 27, I kind of dabbled with that, and that man had me on the edge. I couldn't get it together. My friends had to come do an intervention. At 30, I know that's no good for me. I won't do it. I know that I'm not going to eat dairy anymore, because when I eat dairy, I'm crunched up in the bed for 10 days. Not going to do it. I'm allergic to it. I have an intolerance. Really understanding sense of self. I'm not going to develop a smoking habit. My dad had a smoking habit. He was addicted, and then ultimately it caused him some type of health issue. Not going to go there. It's not for me. Okay? I'm spending a lot of time on this because I want you guys to know. Sense of self, without that, you don't really got much. So develop that. That is going to save you. Number 2, resist. Okay? You hear me? Resist the temptation to be a people pleaser. You ain't gonna please some people. You're just not. They're never gonna be happy. Or they may just not like what you bring to the table. Right? You could be 100% right, but if the audience listening to your right doesn't want to perceive you as right, trust me, you won't be. While this might be unfair, I want you to understand that the moment you free yourself from caring where somebody places you on the likability scale, the good enough scale, the validation scale, the sooner you free yourself from that, the sooner you get yourself in a position that you can really go crazy about your life. You can really stand 10 toes down on what you believe in. You can really honor that sense of self that you've already learned about, right? You can say, well, this is me. And while I would love to appeal to you, and while I would love for you to like me, love me, care for me, do things for me, that's not who I am. I'm not going to challenge who I am to be something else for you. And so if that means we need to go separate ways, then that's what that means. Because that's going to save you from spaces that don't serve you. That's going to save you from playing small. That's going to save you from playing the back when you should be in the front, really showing up and showing out in the purpose that God has you here for. Free yourself from the temptation to please these people. Because happiness is an inside job, and I want you guys to understand that. There will be no man, there will be no woman that you can just love enough, care for enough, show up for enough that they are going to find happiness. Happiness is an inside job. Conversely, when you go somewhere and you like, well, you walking on sunshine and the barista is pissed. Did they ruin your day? No, you gonna get your coffee and be like, child, the girls are mad at Starbucks. That's what you're gonna think. Because happiness is a job you've already done on yourself. Resist the temptation to please people over your convictions. Never ever go outside of what you know is right, what feels justified, what feels like safety, what feels like methodical genius to you. Never go outside of that without due cause or due reasoning just to please someone. We don't go outside of ourselves to please others. We check in with ourselves, we account with ourselves, we consult our sense of self before we make decisions. We don't do it because we want to be liked, we want to be validated, we want to be cared for. Resist the temptation, okay? You will feel tempted. You will say, oh, I just want them to like me so I don't have to deal with anything else. If they're on my team, then we're good and we're great, right? You're gonna feel like that. But people are entitled to change their mind at any time. So what if they like you today and they hate you tomorrow? And you're dependent on that in order for you to feel okay, in order for you to feel free to move about the cabin. That means now they have the ability to shut you down, to shut you up, to tell you, you need to go run and hide because now somebody don't like you. What that mean? So we gotta resist that. If you are in your early 20s, I don't care what age you are, resist the temptation to please people. People pleasing is a jail. It's a jail. Number 3, find a way to integrate quiet time into your life. We are, as a people, thrust into the lives of others through videos that they post, through our social media, right? Through our phones just being constantly active, right? We are constantly in that space where nothing is quiet. Because even if it's quiet, the volume is turned off, you are still consuming external noise. What you're seeing, how you feel about what you're seeing, text and how you're reading and how it makes you feel, or what it's supposed to mean, or the thoughts invoked by the information that you are taking in. Silent noise is still noise, right? In addition to that, our loved ones, the people that we meet at work, our children, they're talking to us, right? They're asking us questions. They're demanding responses. They are looking for us to have feedback. They are looking for us to be able to consume them and what it is that they want us to consume, right? And so while you are resisting the temptation to people please, the best way to ensure that you stay on the mark is to integrate quiet time. And I don't care what that looks like, right? It could be you wake up super early and you have a cup of tea like your grandma used to do back in the day before everybody woke up, just to make sure that you can have that quiet moment to think, to breathe, to consider, to meditate, to sit with God, baby. I don't care what you're doing. You can crisscross applesauce on the floor and think about XOXO. But if it's quiet, then that gives you an opportunity to recalibrate. Recalibration is key as you get older, because again, the ante is being upped. You're getting better. So that means you're meeting different obstacles. That means you are encountering different challenges. That means the trajectory of your life is speeding up, okay? And so in order to be able to meet that demand, you need to be able to recalibrate. How did I feel about that? I ain't like that. They did do that sweet thing for me. That meant a lot to me. I'm gonna remember to reach out to them later. It's a little difficult at work. I wonder what I can do to implement XYZ. As these thoughts are floating through your mind, as these moments of quiet time are available to you, you have an opportunity to decide how you feel outside of what anyone is going to provide you in feedback. Because when we're going to our friends and we're talking to our loved ones and we're doing these different things, it's noise. We haven't had an opportunity to really figure out how we feel. And so one thing I want you to know is that when you're in your 30s, it is about refinement. I think the 30s are about refinement, and that's personally how I feel. And I've never felt finer, to be honest. Yet at the same time, it requires a lot more of me to be able to continuously show up that way. Because fine is not always about looks. It's not only about looks. It's a full thing. It's an internal thing. Find that quiet time, recalibrate, make sure that you are doing those check-ins, make sure checks and balances amongst yourself and no one else are taking place. Take a deep breath. Wake up all the way, right? Before the world starts demanding things of you, before you are responsible to complete tasks, before people are asking you to show up for them and provide feedback and to consume them and every other thing. Because I'm telling you, as you get older and more things are demanded of you and you step fully into who you are and your purpose, you must have moments in which you can tap in with yourself. You must have moments that you can really see where you're going. Because if you rush, you will never feel grounded. You will always feel out of your body. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Oh, I didn't do that. Oh. Find that quiet time and utilize it to really do the things. To strategize, to organize, to plan your days, to check in with yourself, to wake up all the way. Do all of those things in that moment. And I would suggest at least 20 minutes of quiet time. How do you do that? You can wait until the whole house is asleep. You can wait until you wake up before everyone else. You can go to your car and sit in your car for a good 20 minutes without consumption and just listen to God, right? Because that's how the breakthroughs come. Definitely do that. And that leads me to my next thing. Number 4. Guys, a lot of decisions that you'll make in this life will be for you. And so when you are making these decisions, you make them. Don't ask too many people about too many things, okay? This was something that I learned in my 20s that I will take with me throughout life. Once you experience a challenge or a problem, or you need an opinion, or you need insight, right? Once that is here, right? You say, oh, problem, you know, needs a solve, needs a solution. Maybe I should ask this person their insight, or I'm going through this. Maybe I should ask this person their insight. I ask you to first consult yourself. This is something that was brought to my attention while I was in therapy, because I am still actively in therapy because I think it's necessary for everyone. And I think that that's also something I would suggest to you, finding a trusted therapist that you feel gets you and you feel can guide you into mental clarity, right? And provide you emotional skills, emotional coping skills, right? But what I learned was, once you experience or realize that you have something that needs a solve, consult yourself first. Here's why. Sometimes we go to our friends, we go to our loved ones, we go to the people that we confide in, and we go to them and we ask them for their assistance. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Right? And they give us their response. However, number 1, we cannot govern their response. We don't know where that response is coming from. Is it coming from a hurt place? Is it coming from a healed place? Is it coming from a deeply rooted place of envy? Where is it coming from? Do they have an ulterior motive? XYZ. And this is not to get you to think about your loved ones or your trusted people as people you cannot trust. This is to share with you that before you go to them and get them to give input to you, you decide how you feel about the issue. Case in point, my boyfriend cheated on me. I'm hurt. I'm gonna call my friend and tell them how I found out, and we're gonna talk about this. Great, because call your friend, girl. But hold on. Do you want him back? Do you love him? Are you willing to work through it? Are you just wanting to vent right now? Do you want solutions? What is the outcome, right? Sit with the feelings first. Because once you share it with your friend, she is either going to have your best interest at heart and be so pissed off that this has even happened. She's gonna say, forget him, don't talk to him, blah, blah. And then if you do decide that you wanna go back, now you're judged, or you're fearful about being judged, right? Or now things are weird because for whatever reason. And if you go to this friend and you just want to vent, you don't want judgment, you don't want solutions, and they start giving you solutions, now you're annoyed. Because how you gonna tell me about my man, right? Any number of things can happen when we go to seek other people's opinions or thought processes on what we are experiencing, especially if we do not know how we feel. You don't ever want to find yourself in situations, especially as a grown girly, where you are going about your tasks, you are handling things a particular way simply because your friend told you you should feel that way. Your mama told you should feel that way. You better than me because I couldn't have did it. Now you're embarrassed. Now you feel crazy. Now you feel like, well, I gotta get rid of you. Even though it's not a big offense for you, right? And say if you do it with multiple people. Now you wanted this person, this person, this person. Now at the end of the day, you don't even know where to start with how to implement any of this advice or feedback because 10 people then said 10 different things. Before you consult your outside team, consult yourself. You are your greatest ally. You know how you feel because you develop a sense of self, right? You know what you need because you're not going to do things just because you're going to please people, right? And you also have moments in time where you're able to sit with yourself to really figure out and recalibrate in moments where you are unsure. Trust yourself to always be able to arrive at answers that you need And then if you cannot, and then if you want additional feedback, then you call your friends, then you call your family members, then you call your confidants. Decide how you feel and what you think and what you feel is justified before you ping somebody else in. And 5, don't forget to live. Your 30s are going to drag you by your edges, okay? Like, they're going to drag you by your edges. I'm not going to lie to you, and you better not be scared either, because you already know what to do. You're in your 20s, and the 20s are ghetto. So by the time you get to 30, it's like, it's bougie ghetto. It's like, bougetto, you know, it's strange, but it's always been strange, and we will be okay. Your edges will get dragged, but they will grow back, and you will be fine, okay? Don't forget to live. Don't forget that while all of this is going on over here, you still can go out and have a nice meal. You can put on your lip liner and put on your wig, okay? And figure out where you want to go, okay? The 30s are really the 20s with a little more money and a little more fashion sense, okay? Do not forget to live. It will be ghetto. You will be required to think about things. You will be now, we the new aunties and uncles, baby, okay? So we will be required to show up in ways that we have never been required to show up before. But that is absolutely amazing, because who wants to be in the same spot always, right? Do not forget to live. Try to travel, you know, breathe, buy that dress that makes no sense right now and find a place to wear it, right? Explore, love on yourself. Take pride in your sexuality and what makes you feel good and what pleasure looks like for you. Live, okay? Live. Try to get sleep, because you're gonna be sleepy. Try to get sleep. And remember that nobody makes it out of this thing alive. And so at the end of the day, you might as well enjoy this life in its entirety. I'm talking about eat good, drink good, be dramatic. I'm talking about when you take a sip of something that feels so good. Ooh, I don't care what you do, but live in a way that you feel is full of integrity, warmth, excitement. You create your own excitement, okay? Don't wait for life to happen for you. You create those moments that make you go, wow, we had a time. That's what you do. You live. And expect that there's always going to be something amazing around the corner. You might lose friends because those people you were friends with before, life might be kicking their ass and they might not know how to relate to you anymore, right? Life, not even on purpose. People might, you know, get married, have children, go one way, go another way, move away, right? You might realize that something you used to love, you don't love anymore. You might realize that something that you used to be able to eat, you can't eat no more. There's going to be a lot of changes. Embrace them as much as possible and be unafraid. Practice being unafraid, because even in fear, we still get it done, okay? So if you are in your 20s and you are moving into your 30s, or if you are in your 30s moving into your 40s, or if you're just moving into tomorrow, I think this video could be helpful for you. These are things that I am implementing in my life every day. These are the core things that I find are imperative to having a life I love and being a person that I admire. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I look forward to any commentary. Please give me your feedback. It makes me happy when I see questions or, you know, requests for different videos, things of that nature. Please like it if you enjoyed this video and share it with somebody that you think it could be beneficial to. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.